excited to be in my craft room today. In fact, I've spent a little bit of time yesterday and last night just doing some stamping and enjoying being in my room. It's been a while. I haven't been spending as much time in here, and I can tell I needed to kind of have my decompression time in here and just get, revitalized, and my stamp room is the place to do it because stamping makes me so happy. So find the things that make you happy and make sure you take time for them. It's really hard sometimes as life gets busy to take a minute, but I find when I do that, I'm probably more productive the rest of the day. And I've noticed it over the last few days because I've been messing around in here and having so much fun. So I'm getting my environment ready. My environment has been kind of looking like a whirlwind has come through. Got a lot of work going on my back table, getting ready for teaching. That is, school just got out for the year, but I'm taking on a new role next year. I have a lot of new things I'm going to be teaching, so I am hard at work a lot of the times just getting my brain going. So because my space has kind of turned into a workspace, it's even more important that I take a breath and do some stamping. So I'm going to share that with you tonight. Have my candle melting on the melter. Keep calm and carry on. Motto that I need to live by every once in a while in here. As I'm scanning, knocking things over, my room is becoming quite a mess. But as I'm scanning in my own screen here, the picture that you are seeing behind me, I do want to point out, proud mama moment. These are pictures of my two sons that are competing in physique competitions, kind of on the bodybuilding thing, but maybe not quite at that level. So I so enjoy having those two pictures there because they look just like their dad did many, many years ago when he used to do that. So fun. My room just represents for me fun, and I love to be in here. Feeling stressed out, this is where I go. Make sure you find your stress relief for yourself. The one thing I always do, of course, is have my shoes. So today, very simple white sandals. Now, these require me to strap them on, so I'm going to have to take a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, shoes are on. I'm ready to go. So what I've been doing while I've been in here is I grabbed a stamp set, and I'm looking. My gosh, what did I do with it? I might have to edit this out. Seriously, where did I put my stamp set? Oh, here it is. I'm really getting disorganized in my room. So the stamp set that I was using today is kinda eclectic. Can I get it in a spot where you can see it? There we go. Love this. I have fallen in love with butterflies ever since that butterfly framelit die, or thinlit die that came out. Newfound love for butterflies. And I have a punch that goes with this. So I just wanted to use this set and see what I could do. This obviously made me think of the sun. So over the last couple of days as I was stamping, I first made a card and used the brayer, did the sun in not yellow color, which one would expect, and did just a couple of patterns, just thinking it doesn't really have to be the sun, it can kind of be just a design. And then if you can see, if I hold this just right, I did use my dazzling details to try to give this some glimmer, and then I just covered this whole card, it was white cardstock, covered it all with my brayer with Daffodil Delight, and then just used the stamps from Kinda Eclectic and came up with that on the bottom. So that was one. Well, then I thought, okay, I want that to look a little bit more like a sun, so then I came up with this one. And again, you can kind of see this as I move the card a little bit. The sun is kind of sparkly. I did that with dazzling details. I may get a quick video on here showing you how I did that. But the one that I'm going to show you in the video today is this one, because I think this made that sun, I don't think this is doing it justice. If you could see it in person, the sun is seriously blinding. It's so gorgeous, and I want to show you how I did that. So stay tuned and let's get stamping. Okay, have all my equipment here to make my card, and I'm just going to share a couple of things with you. The colors I'm using are Daffodil Delight, Wild Wasabi, and Elegant Eggplant. Then I have, for the card base, I am using a piece of Wild Wasabi that is cut and then scored so that the folded card size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then a piece of white cardstock that'll be layered, which is 4 by 5 1/4, so a 1/4 inch off of the two sides. So that's all I need for the card itself. My Kinda Eclectic set with the coordinating, and get the right light in here, the coordinating butterfly punch, you can see that. And Stampin' Glitter, I'm using Glittering Gold. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous glitter. The Versamark pad, which I'm going to show you how I'm going to use that to help that glitter stick. My trusty snail adhesive. If you don't have this, this is really a must-have. And then this does not look like a typical Stampin' Up! Product, but this is the Heat and Stick powder, and I keep mine in those disposable little containers that you can get. I don't know if they're like Ziploc or Glad or something, but you can buy a whole bunch of them. Come with the lids, and it's supposed to be like a disposable thing, storage thing in the kitchen. But they work perfect for doing either embossing or this Heat and Stick powder. I just put a mail label on them, or you could write on them with a magic or a permanent marker. But this, when I do this, you'll see with a spoon in there, it allows me just to do it right over the top of this, and then I never have to worry about pouring stuff back and forth. So you'll see that in action in a minute. All right, I'm going to get ready to go. All I need, really, as far as the stamping goes, is going to be this one piece of cardstock, so I'll set the card base aside for now. Okay, I have my stamp mounted onto a really big block because this is kind of a fairly large stamp. It's these are clear stamps, they're called, in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and I have had a number of people contact me when they get these because they say, I got this, but it's not the clear stamp. And yes, it actually is. The photopolymer are the ones that are totally see-through. So even though you can't see through this, you use it on the clear blocks. This is what they call the clear stamp. So that is the right one. Now what I want to do is I want to have the sun be this amazing sparkly color, but I don't want it just to be sparkle. I want it to be yellow as well. So what I'm going to do is take my Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to, with this big stamp, I'm going to kind of reverse my process here, and I'm stamping, putting the ink onto my stamp this way. And this stamp, I've used this enough to know the middle section, I'm kind of pressing down and turning just a very little bit because I really want to ink that surface up really well. All right, I'm going to kind of have this come off just a little bit off the side of the card. And I'm really going to give it a press down here to get that perfect image. Love it. Okay, clean my stamp off. And now what I want to do, I'm going to kind of get my stuff, I'm going to get my Heat and Stick powder kind of ready so that when I'm done stamping with my Versamark, you don't have to be this fast, but for me, I have this thing about wanting to make sure that I get this on there. So I'm going to be ready to go with that. I better close this since I don't need it anymore. All right, taking my Versamark pad, which is just a really sticky, kind of like a glue-ish type thing that you can use for embossing or any of that. But I'm using the Heat and Stick powder, and what the Heat and Stick powder does is when I put my Versamark pad onto my stamp and then stamp it on here, it's going to leave the image of the sun with this sticky ink. It's just clear. And then I'm going to put my Heat and Stick powder on it, and then I melt that just like I would embossing powder, and then it's great adhesive for glitter. And you'll see what I'm doing, but I gotta stop talking here. I want to match this up, not perfectly. I really am not looking at making this absolutely perfect, so I'm not worried if it's going to be off a little bit because I want my sun to shine through. Okay, you can tell by the way that sounded when I lifted it up that it's making it sticky. And see now with this powder in my little disposable kitchen storage container, I don't have to, look how I'm not spilling anything. It's going to go right directly back into my container. Love using these. In fact, you can stack them and then label them for all your embossing powder. Now, I'm not sure, let me kind of get my own view changed here. if you can see, yeah, you can see how my heat and stick powder lines are not lined up with my yellow lines. And that's what I wanted, because I want my sun to look yellow, but then have this glorious sparkle that goes along with it. So I have my heat and stick powder, and now I'm going to heat it with my heat gun. And all it's going to do is melt that heat and stick powder, and then I'll be able to put on my glitter. So let's... It doesn't take much. Now, I have my gold powder, and this is not embossing. This is just glitter. And this one I do not have yet in my little handy container, but this will also show you just another way you can do it if you don't have it in your handy container. So I've just covered that image with the glitter on a separate sheet of paper here, and I'm going to tap that off. And I think I'm loving this. Give it a little, blow some of that excess off of there, but before I do too much with blowing that off, because then I'll have glitter all over the country, I'm just going to crease my paper here and then dump all the extra back into my container. Many times when I do this, I feel, oh my gosh, okay, I just put that up. I knew this was going to happen when I'm filming. I have a little extra here, but guess what? I have another layer of paper, so I can still get this off. And back, I am such, you know me, I'm not a waster. I won't waste paper. You think I'd waste glitter? Are you kidding me? Never. So I'm going to get this back into the little container here. A lot of times, and then I just kind of shake that off, the excess, into my garbage can. A lot of times when I use my glitter and I put it back in, I feel like there's more in there. You know, I suppose it doesn't settle, so it looks like there's more. It's kind of like loaves and fishes that just never run out. Okay. So this is set on there. But I have this, and I don't know, maybe you don't even need to do this, but I tend, I better talk first. I tend to go back in with this and just heat it up, making sure that everything is adhered. So if any of that heat and stick powder needed a little extra, you know, a little extra heat to make it stay, I put it on there. But look at that sparkle. And the camera angle on here is just not doing it justice, but it is just amazing. But there's enough yellow that comes through, so it's not just gold, it's like the sun, but then on steroids. Sparkly. Okay. So let me get back in my spot here. And now what I want to do is just get the rest of my images onto my card. So I'm going to use Wild Wasabi, which has become one of my favorite greens. Love that color. And then this, I'll show you, this leaf stamp is the one that I'm going to be using, and then the butterfly, and I'm going to use the sentiment from this, a little kindness goes a long way. And I have all of those mounted on my blocks. And I've told you before, when I'm stamping like this, I put stamps on both sides, because if I start making cards, I like to just experiment, and I just like to be able to go without thinking too much with what I'm doing. So if I put the stamp on a block, it stays there until I've run out of different ideas with it. All right, so I'm going to create kind of a greenery scene on the bottom, and I'm going to do this with a couple of different depths of color. So I want to get my main color, and I think I'll have another dark one kind of coming up on this side of the sun, but then filling in a little bit with a second stamp that's got a lighter color. And if I need more of that lighter color, I'll just stamp it off on my paper. In fact, I think I want, I don't know, I kind of think the fuller I create that, the better it kind of looks. All right. Well, you know what? I'm seeing the bottom on here and thinking, oh, I don't want it to look like it just all ended at the bottom there. Okay. That's given me the look that I would like. I'm doing a very simple stamping piece here, which, as I think about it, most of my cards have that very simple stamping piece. But my cards are simple, and that's why I love doing them, because they're quick and kind of foolproof, and I don't have to worry about doing something so elaborate that I'm going to make a mistake. Okay, a little kindness goes a long way is the sentiment, and I'm just going to put that right over my greenery. Love that. And then I want a butterfly. There are 2 different size butterflies in this set, and I have the punch for the larger one. So I am going to punch that one out. So I'm going to take a separate sheet of white cardstock, and I'm going to make the butterfly with this, which color am I using here? Elegant Eggplant. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make one lighter, because I'm just not sure which butterfly I want to use. And I'm never afraid to do an extra one, because then I just throw it into my drawer. And love these coordinating stamps and butterflies. This has truly become my new thing. I want to use these types of things on every single card, because I love the 3-dimensional look that it gives. And it's so simple. I'm addicted to punching things out, either with the punches or with my Big Shot and the Thinlit dies. Okay, so I'm giving myself a couple of options here with these 2 butterflies. In fact, from earlier today when I was playing around, I also have a green and a yellow, because sometimes I'm always wondering which one I'm going to truly want to use. And I think I want that dark one, but maybe... You know what? I haven't done one with a lighter one, so I think I'm going to use that one. And I was also thinking that I could put another one up here, but I don't think so. All right, I'm going to put him on, but I'm also thinking maybe I could add, just getting an idea. I think I want to use the darker version of this little guy, because there could be some of the flat butterflies on this card as well. And then just the one butterfly would be 3-dimensional. Okay, now where did I put my card base? Oh, here it is. And I have so much different, I've been playing around so much, I don't have an extremely clean work surface here. But I'm going to mount this onto the piece of cardstock that was cut 1/4 of an inch bigger for the card, and that is the same color as the ink that I used, the Wild Wasabi. Now you could either glue the card itself or this piece of cardstock. But I want to glue this on here before I put on my 3D butterfly. And I don't want to rub across that glitter, so I'm just going to press it down upside down. But you'll see the glitter does, it's not like it's going to come off, but I just don't want to rub right across it. Okay, so I have that, and then I'm going to apply this little butterfly. I'm going to take my nice, love these things, my little adhesive glue dots, and just put one on the middle of the butterfly. Kind of bend his wings up a little bit. And not sure if it matters where I put him. Awesome. Okay, now this card is nice and glittery, but I'm almost thinking maybe I could give just a little line of glitter with my dazzling details. I love this stuff because you can really apply that glitter to anything. And I'm just going to outline this butterfly. I haven't tried this yet with my particular card that I've been making, but It's like every one I make, I want to make it just a little bit different. And it's just going to give it a little bit of shimmer with that card, which really goes nicely with that sun. Okay, there you can see that glitter on that sun. It is yellow and gold and simply gorgeous. You could not make it sparkle any more than that. And then the little butterflies, one with 3D, I think that adds so much. So that was the fun I've had this weekend. I hope you like the idea and you do some things now with maybe trying that heat and stick powder with any kind of glitter. It's the best way to adhere that glitter because you can make it perfect for a stamp. You don't have to do it freehand with a glue stick or something. Using that heat and stick, it works perfectly. All right, so get fancy, become a fancy stamper, put on some shoes, surround yourself with all the things that make you happy, and just take some time for yourself and create. See you soon.